basically now I tried my level best to get the data, the sample data for the consolidation sheet, but I haven't got anything. So I thought that today we'll make a data and then we'll consolidate the sheet as well. So basically this PPT will tell us about a number of things like we'll go to this. So, okay. So in this particular section, what you'll understand. So first one is the multiple sheets, basically consolidating multiple sheets. What does it means? That you need to consolidate the data, mix the data as you have done in a pivot Power Query, right? In a Power Query, what we have done, we have just merged the data of all 4 years, right? So similarly, we need to do it, but the only point was that we need to do it on a very basic level, as we have learned that Power Query on an advanced level. So it will get updated automatically, just selecting the folders, right? But in this particular scenario, what you need to do, you need to merge them manually every single time that is required to be merged. Now there is some condition that this particular data, whatever is going to be merged, so in that merger, this first column and first row, okay, this first column and first row should have the same headers. This is having the same data and this should have the same headers. Okay, let's say there is name or serial number. Let's say serial number is there. So what basically this merger says now, that you can merge the data from different sheets and also from the multiple files. There are different ways. Now coming to the third point is understanding syntax, IntelliSense, suggestion box and optional arguments. So it is basically not applicable to the Excel these days. The thing is syntax or IntelliSense or suggestion box or optional arguments. It just provides us the options, or you can say that it suggests if whenever you are typing in your mobile, right? And in the keyboard section, you have entered that auto correction is there or suggestions, like word suggestions are there. So whenever you start writing anything, it suggests you the word depending upon the frequency you use to write. Like if I obviously every single day while chatting to somebody, I just write hey, right? It's HEY. So whenever I just type H na, it provides me 3 options, and one of them is hey, just because I obviously I often use that particular word. So depending upon that scenario also, it provides you a suggestion that which particular formula you should use. And whenever in the Excel you apply any kind of formula, like whenever I'll say just equal to, and then we'll start using any formula, we'll start typing any formula. So this is the optional box that is being provided. Okay, so these are the things. And after that, basic calculations and BODMAS rule. So basic calculation and BODMAS rules would be like, if in Excel we are going to see that how it will apply the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication and everything else. Okay, now calculating square, cube and raise numbers to power. So how we need to calculate all these things. So for these things we do have formulas, special formula. So coming to the first one, that yeah, to consolidate sheet, what working with multiple sheets for data consolidation. Data consolidation means that a merger. Okay, consolidating a data. Let's say that Suneha has the marks, okay, in the first semester, in the second semester and in third semester. So we need to mix it, we need to merge that particular data, consolidate it to figure out that what is the final marks, what is the total mark she has gained. For that purpose we do have 3 sheets, that is, let's say from the first semester, the second semester and third semester results. So to get the total amount of data, now we will do the merger. Now coming to multiple files, let's say in the same particular workbook you don't have all the data, but you do have the data in different files. So along with that you will merge it. Now coming to the syntax, IntelliSense and suggestion box, we took it to the further part. So here, like let's say in the particular sheet we have the data that is related to north, east, west and south sections. Okay, so there are basically we can use those data of, and we'll move all these data to a single Excel sheet. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just move it, create a copy to what, new book 1, whatever has been opened. So this is the order data 2017. We do have the order data of 2017. Similarly, what we'll do, we'll just open 2018, move this data to the same sheet. We'll create a copy in the same sheet, same file. Now let's say we we do have this data in a sheet, and we now need to merge all these things. So for that merger, this consolidation sheet is being used. And how it is being used? So you'll go to the data tool and you will consolidate and you'll select the cell references. Now in consolidation, you have that particular function that what you need to do. Let's say we'll go to this particular book one, sheet one. I'll go, and what I'll do, I'll be just going to the data tab. In this particular data tool, we'll get a consolidation tool. This is the consolidation tool we'll select, and now you will select that what you need to do. You need to sum it, you need to find the average, you need to find the maximum, so whatever it is, and then you'll select it. Let's say we'll go for the sum. Now references, in references you need to select the cells, the cell references. So here what you will do, you will just go to the sheet number order data 2017 and you will select it from customer ID to this one, the whole data you have selected. Now you'll say what? You will just click add. So this particular data has been added. Now you'll go to sheet number 18, and here also you have selected the same data. Okay, selected the whole data, and then you will put what? Add. Now if we will click OK, so when you will click OK, now this sheet will get a consolidated result of all these things. Now what you will say that use labels in the top row or left column, or create link to the source data. What does all these three means? Now if you say now use labels in the top row, it means this particular top row will be used as the label, used as a header for both the sheets. Okay, now coming to this left column, if you do have a serial number, or if you do have any kind of specific number in the left column, so what you will select, you use the left column as a label, so it will be created as a filter. Now create links with source data. What does it mean? That after the merger also, if you will make any changes in this initial data, in these two areas, two references, whatever you have added, so if you will make any changes, so the same change will be implemented to the consolidate data. Now just we'll select the top row and we'll press OK. Now what you have got, you have just got the order ship date. Here it is the order date and the revenue, the cookie shipped, and the customer ID. Now coming to this order ID and customer ID, you can see now that order status and customer ID is not there. So in consolidation, while consolidating the data, what we have selected? We have selected to sum up the data. No? So if we are applying a command to sum up, then if you'll see that customer ID, it is having a alphanumeric data, and in the order status also it is alphabetical data. So is it possible to add the alphabets? So this alphabets won't get added. That is why it haven't merged what? This order status and this customer ID. Now come to this particular sheet. Select this one. If I need to highlight this particular number in all these of both sheets, so how is it possible for you people? So you have gone through the conditional formatting, right? So let's say in this particular question only, we will see that please highlight this particular number in this and this sheets. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll just give the controls to you, the mouse controls to any one of you, and then you can do it on my screen. So Sunia, you want to try it, or I'll first give it to Priyanka? So let's do one thing. This is one thing, that if whenever you need to do something now, first you need to figure out that what is the way to perform that task. It's not compulsory, and it is not always applicable that whenever I said that you need to provide the conditional formatting, so ultimately you need to provide the conditional formatting. Before doing that, you need to figure out something. So let's say what we need to do, first I need to figure out that is this number is available in this sheet or in this sheet, right? I need to figure out that number is available in which sheet. Is it available somewhere else, or is it has only added? So if you will get my concern now, so it won't be available in any of the sheets because this order ID has just been added. If you will take a look about this one now, this number, and you will add with this number, let's say, so you will get exactly the same numbers. And if you drag it, so you will see now they have just added it. Now in this particular case, what has happened, it is 786,770. 786,770. So in this particular sheet, it is basically an alphabet, but in this sheet it is not an alphabet. So this is what basically merging the sheets does. Okay, and what does it means that if you do have any data in any of the sheets, so it will keep a merge and it will basically show you the details. Like let's say this is the exam details, right? Let's say this is the data and this is the marks. Okay, these are the marks of the students. Let's say this is the roll number 7. The student having the roll number 7 is available in the first semester, but he was not available in the second semester just because he has some issue. So he didn't appeared in the exam. So here the data is what? Absent, and here the data is the number whatever he have got. Now if you are getting the sum of this particular numbers, now what they will do, they'll just sum up this. So if there is no numbers, either it is 0 or either it has any data that is not applicable, then they apply this data only. That is why in this particular sheet, in this 7, there is only value error. Why here we are getting value error? Just because we can't sum the alphabets and the numerical digit. But when you merge the data, they have just provided it without adding it to anywhere. And why they didn't added it? Just because in the second sheet it was a alphabetical number. That was, basically for computers it is not possible to add the alphabets or add the alphabets and the numerical number. That is why they have provided the only numerical number which was available, and that is the use of the sheets, right? That is what they do basically. So this is the sum. Now if let's say I was saying that I need to highlight this number in this or this sheet, so what I need to do it? So first we'll go to the conditional formatting. Okay, and if what I need to do, I need to apply the conditional formatting twice, just because first I need to select this data. I'll go to conditional formatting, then will with new rules I'll just select that equal to this cell, this cell. Now in this particular cell, what I need to do now, I just need to what change the cell references, just because I need to check all of these cells, so I can't fix a cell. So what I'll do, I'll just press F4 and will fix the column, that in this particular cell only I need to match it with equal to which data that should be equal to this. Okay, and I'll provide the format as fill, like I need to highlight it by yellow. I'll press it and I'll press OK. So there is no number, but if let's say I'll copy it and will paste it anywhere. Okay, I have pasted it anywhere. So now if I have pasted it everywhere, and now if I'll provide the same conditional formatting, I'll select it and I'll just manage the rules. I'll need to delete all these. So if I need to press a rule that this particular number, that is first should be equal to this, and I'll change the format to highlight it. Okay, we'll apply it. We'll apply it. So what it will do, it will basically figure out all the numbers if there is any. So right now there is only 2. Okay, so if there is any 2, then it will highlight it, or else it won't highlight just because this number is not available anywhere. So this is the merger. Now we were supposed to merge it once again, but doing some changes, like from the data tab in the data tool, we have to consolidate these sheets. So we have to sum up, or we need to maximize. Let's say we need to sum up. Now references, again we will select the same references from here. Like, so first we do the control Z part. Z. Yeah. Now coming to this one, consolidate the sheets, selecting the references. So from references, we will select this one, add, and from this sheet, we will select the same references and will add. Okay. Now we will select the top rows and left columns as headers. Okay. So now they will not sum up the left column, neither they are going to sum up the top rows. And then if you select OK, so what it will do, it have just provided these order IDs. So if we'll count it now, We'll just count all of them. So it is it is 1645 numbers. The totals are what? 1645 numbers. Why it is 1645 numbers? Just because you haven't given the command to add this first column. Remember, you have kept the first column as headers. It means, let's say this is the order ID, this is the student's roll number, right? This is the student's roll number in section 1. Okay, and this is the student's roll number in section 2. Now you need to merge it, and you have provided a category that neither you need to add the names of the subjects, right? These are the parameters, nor you need to add the custom student IDs. So they have merged the both of the cells, and now there are total, it is 1645 numbers. Now if we'll add the total numbers here, this is 860, and how much it is? It is 817. Okay, so the total numbers are 1600 and it's like 60, 70, 77, right? There are 877 numbers. So you ask now why it is basically only 1645. So here, if we select this number, basically, which is not a number, take up this. So how many promos are there? Here it is around 17. So that is why all this promo will be counted in one, right? All these 17 promos have been deselected. All of this have been subsummed in one particular row just because it is common for all. That is why they have subsummed, right? It is an unique value now, but this unique value is present here in the sheet number 2017 for 17 times, and in this particular sheet it must be available obviously from this one. If we'll apply the filter, and here if we'll go and just select this column. So here, how many of them are here? So it's 14, right? And if you will sum up all these things, like if you sum up, let's say that, okay, so just do one thing. Now, order ID is this. If you need to sum up the cookies shipped, so how will you sum up the cookies shipped here? If I need this one, this amount, no, this is 17,369. So I need to figure out this is correct or not. So how would I be able to, which formula to be used while using this cookie shipped? I need to figure out the sum of this whatever has been provided in this 14 cells and this 17 rows, right? There are 17 rows having the same order ID, and in 2018 there are 14 rows having the same order ID. So I need to sum up all this one, and I need to sum up this one. So what would be the formula that would be used to figure out the sum of cookie shipped? You have already learned that formula. Just sum if, just because we need to figure out the sum if formula. Now what we'll say, how would I apply? So here I'll just apply sum if, right? Now range and criteria and sum range. So this will be the range. I need to apply it twice just because we do have two different ranges. So I'll just apply, this is the sum, this is the range. Now I'll fix it, comma, criteria would be on this sheet only, na? This one would be the criteria, and sum range would be in this particular sheet. Sum range would be this, right? This would be the sum range. Now again, adding this with the sum if, just because there are two sheets, that is why I am providing sum if. So it's, and again, range would be from the data table 2017, that is the order data, and then the area would be this, sorry, the criteria would be this sheet only, and then the sum range would be from this data only. This is the sum, right? So if I'll sum up all these things, so that this particular amount is exactly equal to this one. So this is what merged consolidating sheet does. So if you do have a unique order ID, let's say this 413383. So I'll just copy it. We have found it here, and we have, so we don't have it in this particular sheet in order data only. So we do have this in this sheet only. So if you will figure out now this total amount, okay, so nothing have been added anything to it. Iska bas jo bhi whatever the original amount is, this is the original amount that is available, just because this particular order ID is not getting repeated anywhere. Okay, so this is the basic concept of consolidating sheet. Consolidating sheet means if there is some data to be consolidated, to be added, or to be find out the maximum or the minimum. Let's say that we will consolidate the same thing again, keeping one more idea in the mind that now we are not going to same sum it, we are going to find the maximum amount, and we have only one reference, that is that xxxx. Okay, that 6 times x order ID, that is the only thing from where we can figure out that it is consolidating or not. So we'll just select the reference from here. We'll select the same data, we'll add it. Again, we will select the same data, we'll add it. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll just select the top row and left column and we'll create what? Okay. So this time what we were asking for, we were asking for the maximum amount. We were not asking for anybody to sum up anything. So now what it will be like, then when we will go to this yeah, we can't merge it. We can't merge it if it is in the, it is not in the same row or same column. Okay, this is the drawback of consolidation sheet. Now that is why that power pivot or power query came into existence, right? Just because power pivot and power query came into existence. Why? Just because by this small tool, consolidation tool, if there is any change in the format of the data of those two ones or those two sheets, so yeah, we can use VLOOKUP on those two sheets. But what it won't be done for the large variety of numbers now. For that we need to do what? We just need to do it separately for each and every item, for each and every line. Okay, that is the drawback of VLOOKUP as well. So that is why that power pivot and power table came into existence. Okay, so now coming to this particular part, we were discussing about, yeah, so we were discussing about the maximum. Right now we have selected what? To figure out the maximum amount. So maximum amount for this is, let's say it is 975 only. So we need to figure out that, yeah, either it is 975 or not. So if we go to figure out what is the maximum amount, so here also the maximum amount is 949, and in the sheet of 2017, if you figure out the maximum amount is, so it's 975, and if in the sheet 5 you'll see that 975 is the maximum amount. So this is how, and it is not compulsory that you are going to get the all the details from the same sheet. It's not possible. Okay, like if the cookie shipped is 975, so it's not compulsory that the revenue will be basically from the 975 column only. So here it is, like if we go to that 975 part, let's say it is. So if the revenue from 975 cookies would be higher, then only, let's say we'll do one more activity, that will just consolidate it, keeping this maximum, keeping this create links to the source data. Why? We need to change some data. Okay, so what we did, we just take a reference from this order date, like 860 add, and in the same sheet it's 860 will add, right? And we'll press OK. Now top left, top rows, left column, and create a link to the source data. Why am I selecting this one also? Just because from once I have showed you the top row, once I have showed you the effect of the left column, once I have showed you the making changes in this. Now I need to show you this effect of making changes with this create links to the source data. I'll press it OK, and it will just create. So it is the 485, 4875 now. Let's say we'll go to this sheet, we'll apply the filter here. Okay. And we do have the 475. Let's say that this, we will change the revenue of here by 8300. Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll just came up here and you can see that it is 8300. Like for every particular column, it will adopt that largest value, whatever is available. It has nothing to do with the thing that if the cookie, this particular cookie shipped is in the maximum, so it is not going to provide the relative revenue, cost, or order date. Okay, it is not going to see that. If you'll see in the formula tab, there is a formula of the max that has been implemented. By consolidating it, not only this sheet, you will get the max of all these items, and that is why what happens, it has nothing to do with the cookie shipped when it will provide 975, just because 975 is the highest number. Now he will that particular formula will come to the revenue, then it will be comparing only revenue. It has nothing to do with the cookie shipped. So they'll provide the whatever the highest amount in the revenue part. Now what they'll do in the same sheet, if let's say the cost is 2437, right? So now we'll make a change like here. So let's say in the cost, what we'll do, we'll just make some changes, like we'll do 21900. So I have provided this. So when we'll come to this particular sheet now, we will get the cost as 21900. So this is the effect. Now consolidating sheet, you have figured out that consolidating sheet is nothing but just to add values from two different sheets, or if you will add it now, so you can add it from two different files as well. So from here you will browse the files. Like from here you will just have to what, you just need to select the downloaded files. You will just need to select this, let's say if you do have the data, you will just go to the data folder, you will just select this one. Okay, now not on this sheet, what we'll do, we'll just consolidate the data, but not from this sheets. I need to consolidate data from two different files. So I'll just browse this file as 2019. I'll press OK and add it. Okay, this reference is not available here. Due to some reasons we can't select it, but we can select it, like say like from text or from other sources we can get it. From here now we can browse it, but for that purpose we need to have a simple particular same format of that particular Excel sheet. That is why it is saying that yeah, there is some issue by selecting the file, or else it will basically adopt automatically. Okay, so here it will ask for the references. So for that reference now you need to select it from anywhere else. So you need to select that same data. I don't know why it is happening, but yeah, practically I have done it, and it also selected the files. So if you do have any data in two different files, you can do in the easiest way. What you can do, you can just move it to some Excel sheet, and then you can process the same consolidation process. And you have already seen the consolidation process result in all the other aspects. First, you have just merged it, keeping the first row as stagnant. Now in the second sheet, what you have done, you have kept the first row and first column fixed. Now in the sheet 5, what you have done, you have just figured out the max amount, keeping the first row and first column fixed. Now in the sheet 7, what you have done, you have just compared that it has nothing to do with one another factors. It will just figure out the maximum amount what with each and every different headers. It will compare separately. It has nothing to do with the other headers, right? So if in the ship date it is going to get the maximum value, it has nothing to do with the order date. So it is not like VLOOKUP or something that if you will be getting the details of that order date or ship date with this particular cookie shipped amount, whatever it is. So what it will do now, it has nothing to do that it is the maximum amount or not. It will just provide the revenue from where the cookie shipped will be 975. But in consolidation sheet, it will what if you are demanding for the maximum amount or the minimum or the average, whatever the formula you will apply, will get the same details. Okay, the other factors are not going to affect. The only factor that will affect, that is fixed, and these two fixed items are like it's the customer ID and the header. Okay, so this is the consolidation sheet. Going further, right, like this is the whole process they have followed. Now, if you'll see now, so you can see that combining them using the Power Query. So Power Query is basically, I just told you now that Power Query and Power Pivot are being introduced just for an advanced feature. So it is just an advanced feature that first you will consolidate the data, consolidate all the 4 sheets using Power Query, and then you can perform the consolidation data sheet. Okay. So now coming to this particular formula, Excel. So is this saying the syntax of the Excel? So here in the formula tab, you will have all the different types of formula like mathematical or trigonometric, lookup functions, whatever it is. So these are the, if you remember, we have gone with the match. Okay, we have gone with the index. We have learned for the lookup, H lookup, V lookup. We have gone through all these functions. Transpose is also one of it. So in Paste Special, we have learned about transposing that particular data. Right. Now coming to the date and time, there are a number of formats. So what does it means basically? That if you need any kind of data, you can go through these things. We have gone through that formula auditing now. Remember? We have gone through that formula editing. Basically, this is all about this particular sheet. Okay, this is the formula tab. They are just saying that if you need to apply any of the formulas, you can go for these references. Okay, now coming to this particular IntelliSense, what I said now, you can't use it. Basic calculation of bod mass. Let's say as per the mathematical calculation, what we do, we just do that if there is something that is being written is equal to 8 into 5 plus 3. So as per bod mass, what you will do? As per the bod mass, first you will multiply it, right? Yeah, first you will apply 8 into 5, that is 40, and then 3. So if we will press enter, yeah, we'll press enter, this 43. What if you will press that 3 plus 8 into 5? So it should also be 43. So here it is 43. So what you need to do now, what you need to do, if you need to apply the bod mass, so it is being applicable on the Excel. So if you need to clarify anything, so for that purpose, you need to apply brackets and all. Like if I need to add what, if you have written what, 8 plus 5 into 3. So I need 8 plus 5 need to be added first, that is 13, and then to be multiplied by 3. But it is not going to do that. Okay, so it has done what? Just multiplied 5 with 3 and then added 8, right? So what we need to do? We need to apply brackets to avoid any kind of confusion. So we'll apply brackets and then the result would be as per our desires. So this is what it is saying, that it follows the bod mass. So you can apply the multiplication or the division sign after plus or minus. So Excel will always use the bod mass model and reverse this equation. Okay, it has nothing to do with that आप कैसे इसको implement करते हो. The Excel will do what? Excel will always use the bod mass function to solve this. So to avoid that bod mass function, you need to apply brackets, and basically it is also a part of the bod mass. So you need to do what? You need to apply brackets if you want to write something like that. Like if you are there to solve that 8 plus 2 into 5. So 8 plus 2, if you need to do it first, so you need to provide it as a bracket. Okay, brackets, in under the small brackets, you need to find 8 plus 2 and then you need to apply it. That is the bod mass. So that is what I am saying, that if you need to do any kind of simple calculations in Excel sheets, so that will implemented what? That will be subsummed or solved as per the bod mass. Okay, now coming to this next part, square root. So for the square root, there is a function. Basically, there is a formula that is SQRT. This is the square root function that let's say for 4, if I need to find the square root of the 4th, SQRT, I'll apply, and then the number would be like 4. So here it is 2. Okay, so whatever the square root is, let's say if there is 144 and I need to find the square root, so I'll just apply the square root formula and will select the number and it will be the square root. Okay, it can be any number, it will provide you. Okay, so let's say it is 110, it will provide you the square root. Okay, for a square root it is a formula, there is a formula that is SQRT. Then finding the cube root of the in Excel, so what happens now, basically you need to provide this operation set with 1.1/3. So whatever the cube root is, like let's say 27, we need to figure out the cube root. So is equal to this particular number. Now you need to provide that upper buttons. So this is the sign. Okay, in a bracket 1/3. Need to apply. So it will provide you the cube root, right? So for cube root, there is not a formula, there is a way you need to write it. So this is the way you need to write it. Okay, now coming to the powers. So power, basically what it does, it doesn't make any sense. So if you will, so it's the symbol on the 6, numerical button 6 on your keyboard, that is on 6. Okay, yeah, with shift you can apply, right? So depending 4 by power 2, so it will provide you what, both, like 4 square. So you have just figure out the square root. For square root you do have what, you do have the formula SQRT. So for square root you do have a formula, that is SQRT, what we have applied here, right? This is the square root. And if you need to apply, you need to figure out the square or the cube. Here you have figured out the cube root. So if you need to figure out the cube of that, so for that purpose you need to apply power. Then that particular number, let's say this particular number, now you need to apply the power, and this is the power. So you'll get 27. Okay, so let's say 4. So 4 into 4 into 4 into 4. So it will be like 4 into 4 into 4 into 4, and that will be equal to 256. So that is why by power you will apply whatever you need to figure out, right?